welcome back to the Breakroom. This is our daily live show that keeps you updated on all the nerdy fandom news that you need to know. Coming up on the show today, Quantum Realm character roundup. I hate that sentence. An untitled Sony Marvel movie planned? It's true. And Dave Bautista, future rom-coms?
Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine? Could you be so enticed? I'm Brandon Barrick. Who cares across the table? We got Coy Jandro.
Give me that Blade Runner 2049 prequel. That's a love story.
Oh,
yes. That's what I do. Why is he so sad?
Is he gay in that movie?
Whoa, I don't know.
I want to see.
He's a robot.
Love.
Let him be whatever he wants to be. Speaking on behalf of all gay robots, we got John Costa.
Hi, I'm also a gay robot.
Oh, delicious. And next to me right here, we got our boy Tommy B.
You people don't deserve me.
You're right.
Oh, okay.
You're so well lit today.
Thank you.
Beard looks great.
Thanks.
Oh, he's lit today. Don't get it. We got a lot.
Thanks to Blue Chew.
Oh, no. They haven't sponsored us in a while.
They didn't pay for it today. Stop taking them when they don't pay.
I'm
Jesus.
I'm paying for it.
We got lots to get to today, so let's get right into it with the headlines.
Beatles.
Tickety tackety took took took. James Gunn has teased more information about Batman and Superman in the upcoming DCU. He said that, quote, he's at the Daily Planet, I assume this is Superman. We're coming into a world where superheroes exist and have existed. So does that mean Batman might be a couple years older than Superman? Yes, it could be.
What a weird sentence structure.
That's how he said it.
He said it like the way my high school football coach used to get us excited for games, where he'd be like,
yes.
hey,
It could be.
are they a good team? They might be. You think they've got it figured out how to play against us? They might have.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that they worked harder than us this week? No, sir. There ain't no way in hell they did.
Motivational.
They
Guess
were
what?
who they thought we
We went 0-10 that, just kidding.
The thing that makes me the happiest from that quote was that this is a world where there have been superheroes for a little while, which I like. We're not getting a lot of origin stories for a lot of these characters. Even the world is not getting an origin story. We're going to just jump in to a world that, like, hopefully already feels kind of established.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
wonder
a
if
real
he's going to
living
play
world.
with that as a concept, like Flashpoint leaving like ramifications. Like if the end of everything is Flashpoint, like it was pretty strongly said in the announcement, will we have characters that are aware of another universe like having happened?
I think he came out and said no.
Okay, because that's my curiosity. Is
I don't remember.
if we have Aquaman be this like middle ground, because I think Blue Beetle they can nicely like wrap up and tie in because they have time.
Right.
And I think Flash they're probably going to reshoot the ending or like reshape things. I think that there's going to be like basically a cascading event where depending on how these do, how much they'll impact the future. Because we have 2024 to decide. They'll be shooting these movies, but we can kind of have that maybe be like an echo. So I'm really curious about that, and I also think it's kind of weird that people are so upset about the idea of an older Batman than Superman because I've never thought of an alien physiology.
He
as
needs
mattering.
to be the
Like,
same age as him.
Same birthday,
Same
mother's
birthday,
name.
same age.
You got to have the mom name and the birthday on the card. But I mean, I think that if you have like a 30-year-old Batman and he's got like a 10-year-old kid, that's not crazy. If Superman's like 30 and he's like 35, I don't know. It's just it's not too insane to me.
I think it works, and I love the idea of, superheroes existed. So, like, you have Superman going around New York, and they're like, or Metropolis, excuse me. And they're like, there's also a New York. Explain that to me. I don't know. But, like, the idea that he's zipping around, they're like, yeah, we don't care.
Fine. It's the
we
red
kind of
blood.
like the Bat guy. He's our favorite. We kind of speculated this yesterday or within the last 2 days. That if the story they're telling with Batman is with Damian Wayne and all that, then he should be older. And if this is a year one Superman, then he'll probably be a little younger.
I think it's gonna be like a year 3 Superman. I think it's gonna be no, but I'm saying like just I'm not. It's not semantics.
I want a cornfield.
There's a different tone of year 3. I think he's gonna be a little bit more established with his relationship with Lex. That's the only reason I'm bringing up year 3 because Lex is a childhood faux friend.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna be established as that rivalry's already established beyond the year 1 tone. And I also think it's gonna be a matter of the reason they're doing the Bat family. I think beyond bringing in Damian Wayne is it's going to be an already established Nightwing. It's going to be an already established perhaps Red Hood. This allows you to have a relationship with Joker that's already fully formed, so you can use him or not. This allows you to have a fully. I mean, we've got
Jared Leto back?
He's back, but it allows you to have
Somehow Jared Leto returned.
It's that the Batman that
Morbius.
can fit with Justice League is going to be a little softer, and I think having Damian Wayne be more intense and an assassin will be a great mirror for the Justice League.
We're going to pull the ripcord on Coy and the DCU a little bit later in the show. So
I'll be ready.
Save some.
Okay,
save some.
I got it in the
Save
pocket.
some of it.
Juice him up, boys.
Save some of it. Next headline, folks. folks. Sony Pictures 2024 release slate lists an untitled Sony/Marvel Universe movie. It is currently slated for release on July 12th, 2024. Now, we personally at the channel, we think this could be Venom 3.
Yeah.
Which we're expecting to start shooting this summer.
Seems like the
It
furthest
was
along.
greenlit in April 2022.
That doesn't already have a date.
Right. I've been speculating that we will not have a standalone Spider-Boy movie before the end of Secret Wars. I think Spider-Man will be in the Secret Wars.
Gotta
in the Kang
get
Dynasty.
him in there.
I don't know. I think they want that to. I think.
You don't think it's going to, like, Kang Dynasty is going to fuck everything up, and then there's going to be a standalone Spider-Man movie that everyone's going to be like, wait, I thought this world shattered, and then, like, the post-credit scene is going to be him getting sucked into Battle World or something.
Sure, but I mean, like, I don't think we get the standalone Spider-Man movie because I think the Sony-Marvel relationship, this is just purely me speculating, doing a little wrestling booking, fantasy booking of my own. The relationship started well. They shook hands. Civil War, it happens. We see Spider-Man. We're making these 3 standalone movies. You get a Doctor Strange. You get an Iron Man in your movie, Sony. It's going great. We love it. It's a great partnership. We get Endgame. It's beautiful. Everyone's crying. Far From Home. Oh, it's great. Then we move into this new territory, and they're like, Sony's like, well, we're going to make some movies too. They make their Venom movies. Everything's going well. And then you get, like, Carnage. And at the end of it, right, Venom gets sucked into the MCU. Kevin Feige's like, wait, what's happening? Now I gotta explain this. Yeah. So then they have to add a little thing at the end from Far From Home. They're like, oh, he was down in Mexico and now he's back. It's all good. And Feige's like, oh, we got past that one. And then he goes and sees Morbius. And then he ended up Morbius. And he's like, wait, what is happening? And I think the relationship is a little rough right now. And they're like, we'll get back together after Secret Wars.
I need Dave Franco and Seth Rogen to make the Interview 2 so that Sony gets hacked again. So we can get all these emails where Kevin Feige is emailing Amy Pascal.
I like that you're going with Dave Franco this time.
Oh, yeah, sorry. James, we don't want you.
No, Dave Franco's ready. I think you're on the money with Venom, and I also think that it might be Andrew Garfield. I think they're aggressively courting Andrew Garfield.
I would love it.
And I think
he needs to be courted.
Oh, I think he's doing so many great Oscar-y things.
Spider-Man.
He does, but I don't know if he wants
saw
to.
the first 2 Venom movies.
Yeah, I like those movies. They're fun 90s movies.
Fun.
But I honestly, I think Tom Hardy wants to play him another time and then probably go. Like, he made him to play with his kids. Like, he made him to have that. I think he probably doesn't want to play Venom forever, so you need to make it sooner. And I also think that if you're going to get Andrew Garfield or Tobey, you should do it sooner than later. Yes, and Tobey already has the messiness of Venom. So I think it's Andrew, and I do think you're right about Spider-Man, and we'll get an older college age, like senior year of college Spider-Man after all the chaos, and Kang can solve all those Venom problems.
Sure.
We got a guy.
Yeah. Spider-Man will be in Marvel movies, but we're not going to have a standalone Spider-Boy movie until after this is all done.
Will Spider-Man be in Venom 3? Spider.
I think he thinks it's Garfield.
I also think Into the Spider-Verse becomes Across the Spider-Verse, and when they go through the Spider-Verse in the third one, it goes to Madam Web, and there's live action stuff.
Well, yeah, and again, we think this is Venom 3 because, like, Madam Web has a release date. Kraven the Hunter has a release date, so it's not those. We know those are still.
I think those all connect though through Spider-Verse,
yeah.
And I think that we're going to see Venom be more impactful because that's 2024. That's a while away. We could have something happen with Madam Web and through the Spider-Verse that impacts all of this. So like this could be a big event thing that we don't even know about.
Okay. As long as both sides are talking to each other.
I just hope they're happy.
As
long as
I hear a lot of people are talking about Kraven.
No.
Oh, they are?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Next headline. Looking for a present for the ant stands in your life? Oh my God. How about the now
totally
real...
we get paid for this episode?
No, I'm reading this headline.
Sorry.
How about the now totally real book, Look Out for the Little Guy? And a new Marvel promo, Paul Rudd presents Scott Lang's memoir. It's very meta, and he calls it out, which you can get pre-orders in for right now. The book does not ship until September. I already looked at the website. Because I was like, do we need to read this ahead of it?
Doesn't ship until September?
Yeah, I think they're writing the book right
My God,
now.
are they writing it one letter a day?
Well, I don't know, but...
Yeah, I really don't think they're writing
What month is it? Am I confused? It's February, right?
I was
March,
hoping...
April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 8 months from now.
You did the math.
I hope it's a time travel joke. Like in the book, there's Kang references from Kang Dynasty.
I hope so,
like there's
too.
stuff that like jumps through time.
Well, this is the book we see him promoting in the trailers for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
How can it exist in the movie?
He's at a book reading it. So, you know.
The Blu-ray will be up by then.
Yeah. I was really hoping that we would get the podcast that was referenced in Ms. Marvel, where like Scott Lang was doing an NPR style like recap of what had happened in Endgame. Still trying to put that out.
Does Terry
folks.
Gross do cameo? Can we hire Terry Gross?
Ooh, I would love Terry Gross to be a part of that.
We'll do like 55 cameos and get a full script.
Scott Lang, you told me all about your time in prison, but I want to know more about your time inside of Thanos' asshole. What was that like? Well,
My God.
well, Terry,
That's the book.
Yum.
The whole book's a tell-all.
Next
Talk
headline.
about gross.
Next headline. I like that one. We'll go back to that.
Save that.
We also got a new Ant-Man spot, a teaser, if you will, for those of you who want to see this in 3D. If you loved Avatar 2, you could see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in 3D. In this trailer, we see the glowing ant farm from the lab that we saw where they get the initial suck-in, if you will.
The suck-in.
We see this kind of thing in the background. It almost looks like a map. We think it's like an ant farm, but these little glowing ants. It's been pointed out in the videos. You watch the channel, folks. This new trailer, you kind of see that getting sucked into the quantum realm, and they make a point of showing it in this trailer. And the fact that you see it going in, that could be an important MacGuffin for this movie, right?
They don't have ants.
Huh?
They don't have ants.
They don't have ants?
They
How
don't have
tiny
ants.
will
That's how
those
you
ants
get
be in the
ants.
They're gonna
quantum
have
realm?
ants.
Maybe. Quantum ants? Could we see quantum ants? Maybe you have to build tunnels? I mean, there's all this, these ant references in these movies, of course, but this one especially with all the Ant-Mans acting like ants and making a tower. Who knows? I don't know.
World War Z.
We
Ants.
just need to see the movie already.
This is the MCU property that references its like, the thing that the person is based on the most. We're not getting a lot of like.
Well, Spider-Man doesn't talk to spiders.
We're not
right?
getting a lot of
Yeah,
spider stuff. You get some Panther
We
stuff.
don't get a
Black
lot of
Panther.
wasps. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
It's all ants.
That's right.
She doesn't talk to wasps as far as I know.
I think he's also the character that probably. I mean, later.
Tony
on-
Stark's not building a suit out of iron. Let me tell you,
It
it's
is.
too
It is
fucking
way too heavy.
He did it once. And
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, and even the comic books, because Spider-Man has a spider totem thing, but it's not as spider-based as Ant-Man. is.
Captain America's talking about America.
That's true.
He talks
And
about
his
America
ass.
a lot.
And it's all over him.
It's all over.
Yeah, he's pretty spangled.
It's all over him.
He's
I
dead.
wish Ant-Man talked to real ants. And uncles, too.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
I wish I could talk to my aunts.
Oh, did they?
They all got on a train together one day, and that train careened off the side of the
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I asked.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was an avalanche.
That was terrible.
That one was worse than the
Tim
last.
Duncan, we love your work on the Spurs, but we're never going to talk about Percy Jackson.
Yeah, sorry,
love
Tim
your work
Duncan.
on
You
the
heard it from
Spurs.
Tommy's mouth. Also, Trashback sending in a super chat, and we have to. This is a headline.
I'm kind of angry about this.
Okay,
super
well,
chat.
that's because John hasn't finished Andor. But Trashbag has just finished Andor.
Yes.
And they
Why did
say
you out me?
best Star Wars out there.
Shots
You
fired.
deserve
Internet.
it. You
Just
deserve
I
it.
watched-
I watched 11 episodes of Andor.
The man won't
They
finish.
did not watch the finale.
You're that close to finishing
Why?
it. It's so
Spoilers
good.
for Andor. I started watching it, and I just don't care
Fight
about
the
Menora's
Empire,
character.
John.
And
One way out. One way out, my
yeah.
guy.
It accelerates so beautifully. The pacing.
I gotta watch it. Okay, I'm working on
We
it.
haven't said it on the channel in a while. Apologies to Andor.
Apologies to Andor.
Apologies to Andor.
And John,
I do apologize.
thank you
Thank you.
for your candor about Andor.
I was not trying to be candid about it. Brandon outed me.
You were out, and I apologize for that.
Preston Jones, they need garbage plates in Guardians. They need garbage plates anywhere. The most delicious of all cuisine. The garbage plate.
Sort of
The
bullshit, New
official
York.
garbage plate is the official dish of Rochester, New York. It's not a secret.
What is a garbage plate?
A garbage plate is macaroni, home fries, either hot dogs or cheeseburgers on top with a meat sauce, onions, and mustard. Let me tell you, you eat one of those, you feel like you swallowed a bowling ball, both inside and out.
Yeah, that saved me a lot of money on bowling balls.
I mean, heart surgeons in Rochester must
Just
be
thriving.
Oh, we don't have
Thriving,
any there.
just
They just drop everyone in.
I'm out of here.
People, we have what's called a heart attack pit, and when it starts to come on, you just
So many
walk
pits.
over the edge and flop in.
Okay.
Oh, that's kind.
Yeah.
That's like a very self-serving.
Well, on that note, let's get into our main discussion today. We got this new Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania spot. You know, we're in that. These are the dark times, folks. The movie's a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
They're going to keep putting out these little teasers. They're going to give us a little more juice each one to tease us more, to get us into those theaters. We're
little
already
more
going to see
ant
it.
juice.
We don't want to spoil the movie too much. We can't. We haven't seen it yet. But, like, we do want to kind of take this moment to take a register of these weird quantum realm people that we got involved. Well, these little side characters that are going to play a role in this movie. So in this most recent trailer, we got our first look at the character Zeb, who's being played by David Dasmalchian, who you might know from the... there's a great photo of
He's
Zeb.
goopy.
He's goopy. This is the head of Zeb.
What do you think?
It looks
Could be
like
his
some sort
butt.
of goop in his in a jar.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys. I don't want to cross-pollinate our platforms
Do it.
and our. I have a pretty dynamite theory about the QR Quantum Realm Resonance coming out on Rogue Theory this week. And I want to invite you all to watch on Saturday because I've got some thoughts on Zeb. I've got some rules for the Quantum Realm, a QR code, if you will, that I think is going to blow.
Do I have to download an app?
Gen Z loves the QR.
No, just open your photo app and then
just press a little
Yeah,
bit.
John,
That's
we
it.
just lived through a pandemic. We all know how to do it. Come on.
That's where all the menus are.
I want to talk about this guy.
Yeah, talk about Zeb.
Because we were talking about it earlier. He's super goopy, which is kind of weird. Different than a lot of the other Quantum Realm characters that we've seen so far. But he's also being voiced by someone who's in the Ant-Man movies.
He's in the first two.
Right?
But confirm that character's not coming back for this one.
I think
heard.
there's some crossover there.
So-
You and I have talked
I
about
know,
this.
I know.
So I don't know where you're going with that, but like, Luis, we're not getting.
Change
Right.
it. Watch your tone. That's one.
Gentlemen.
Don't make me count to 3.
Gentlemen.
What we saw with MODOK / Yellow Jacket / Darren Cross, he gets sucked into the Quantum Realm, and he becomes all this super disfigured, and they like put him inside of this like, I feel like they put him in his little body.
Right.
His body's made out of metal. It feels like they like set him in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's also really goopy.
Right.
So we were talking earlier.
If you say
You
goopy
assume
one
it's
more
Goopy-
time,
you
He's
assume
Goopy.
it's
I'm
Goopy
leaving.
based on Frank.
Goopy is the new moist.
Yeah, a little based on
terms of
Frank. A
upsetting.
little bit based on Frank, but also like he's stretched, he's deformed, he's a like different
Right.
shape. He like if you look at his face, he looks.
Well, we only got one good shot.
All
Yeah,
his
I'll
his
argue that's a good
friends.
shot.
All I'm trying to say is, what if
Zeb.
Zeb is just like a pre-MODOK? You know what I
Okay.
mean? You know what I mean? He's sucked into
Someone
the
who
quantum
else
realm.
was brought in.
He is sucked into the quantum realm by mistake, and this is sort of like
Do you remember the first Ant-Man when someone gets killed by a Goopy?
Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
Oh, that's the character. Got
Yeah,
it. Another
yeah.
name. So
Flushed down the toilet.
there is potential for a transformation into this world where they could have a quantum realm. Because there was that rumor forever ago that the Fantastic Four were stuck in that little.
That's right.
So what if people get trapped in the quantum realm?
Well, yeah.
And some don't have the physiology, but the Fantastic Four
Yeah.
do.
Well, yeah, and one of the things we talked about a couple weeks ago was that the people who use PIM particles like start making them in their body.
That's a comic book
right.
thing, yeah.
So if you, it's a comic book thing. Thank you. So if you assume all of these folks get trapped in the quantum realm and they like go through Cassie's weird device. But you've got David Desmalchi and just like
Well,
he
she's the
came
voice.
over to like
Yeah.
drop some mail
he
off
also
or
got
something
sucked
like
in.
that, and
Yeah.
he gets sucked in, and he doesn't have the physiology that the Pims do
and he
and
says,
the Langs
please,
do.
it's Zeb now.
It's
Please use my real
well,
name.
why is Darren Cross not in the quantum realm being like, please call me Darren?
Well, A, we don't know that yet. That could be true. B, with Darren Cross, you bring up a good point, right? Frank is the gentleman we saw in the first Ant-Man. He worked for Darren Cross. He questioned him. Darren Cross gave him a little zap with the still being evolved PIM particles, and he was turned into a goo that was moving, so still alive, and flushed him. When Darren Cross enters the quantum realm, it's not through PIM particles, okay? It's through cross particles, the stuff he's developed. He's in the Yellow Jacket suit. Now remember,
but Frank is also cross particles.
Frank is cross particles. This is like the late stage that are actually working, but they only work if the organic materials inside of a suit,
Which is why you need the
we
MODOK
saw the
suit.
sheep, right? So he got shrunk down. He getting shrunk down via cross particles, not PIM particles. So that could deform his body as he goes down. Because when
Yeah, his arm
Ant-Man in the
gets sucked
first
in.
one, Ant-Man in the first one, he goes subatomic into Yellow Jacket's regulator to force that to happen. But he's not shooting out PIM particles like red. He's just like. So whatever happened to Darren Cross, it's the cross particles that brought him down. So yeah, he's probably like deformed, and I think the metallicness of his body is maybe his own suit that he's like fused with permanently.
Yes.
And Kang gave whatever tech he had. He's like, oh, this is the best I
gonna
can do.
try
My
it.
big head figment. Like, this is the best I can do. But you're thinking that Zeb could be the same guy
I think he might have been. Yeah, he might have been
Think he's
sucked
getting
in
sucked
too.
in.
And then they're like walking around the
possible.
quantum realm, and he's like, "Hey,
It's Zeb now.
what the hell?"
I think you're right on
Yeah.
something. I like that.
Because I mean,
I'm down
okay,
with something.
directors, yes, they'll cast.
All I'm
they'll-
going to say is watch Rogue Theory, and it's all going to make sense.
Well, we're on this show.
Well,
Can't
basically,
spoil his rogue theory.
yeah, I can't spoil my rogue theory. I want to say so much, but I gave my heart out to that show, you know? And I don't want to drop into the heart attack pit yet, so I need
He's
to. I gotta
contractually
recover.
obligated.
It's hurtful.
Well, let's talk about another quantum person we have. And again, the question is, did all these people get sucked in, or are some of them born there organically?
Gotta be.
There's a huge society there. I don't think everyone, unless Kang brought in a whole neighborhood.
Well,
on
and
his way.
speaking,
I don't
of,
know.
Save the
speaking
world.
of which, sorry to jump ahead here
That's
a little
okay.
bit, but like this character Krylar, Lord Krylar, you know,
This is Bill Murray's character.
you remember, not to bring politics into this, but I'm going to. The main senator election in 2020 was between, I can't remember her name.
Susan Collins?
Susan Collins and the challenger, right? Susan Collins is the incumbent. Susan Collins ran all of these ads about how she was from Maine. She was born and raised in Maine, and her opponent was not, even though her opponent like moved there when they were like 10 or whatever. I think that Bill Murray is playing this guy, Lord Krylar, who's the governor of Axia, which is this community within the quantum realm that we're talking about. I have to think that, first of all, the society is built up so much that it feels like people have been here for generations. I also kind of think like he might be some sort of like, you know, quantum realm purist who is like, I've been here for a long time, vote for me for governor, blah, 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 blah. He has these sinister intentions, we believe.
I was born in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Molded by it.
I also.
Molded by it.
Whereas Janet, right, his sort of like antithesis in this movie was a visitor and came in and had to do.
What if, going off your theory, he is a loyalist to the people that were born there, and the Goop people he wants to kill?
love the Goop
So the
people.
Goop people come in, and he's like, no, you're Goopy,
No.
and he
You're
wants
too
to
weird.
kill.
Wouldn't you?
He
honestly?
he
If a
wants to
bunch of
keep-
goopers came to Earth, you'd be like, get out of
trying
here.
to
Come
keep-
on.
I don't want to turn this back into politics 101, but I do want to point out that prior to a democracy, a governor is an appointed position. So I don't know that Bill ran in a free democratic
You're right. You-
election in the quantum realm
Governor for life?
or in Axia. He may have been named governor. He may have named himself governor. Or maybe someone just went, hello, governor. And he was like, I like how
that
that
sounds
sounds.
good.
I'm going to keep that.
Well, he does go by Lord Krylar, and he's considered a governor, so I don't know. Who
Well,
knows? Now, yeah.
He could also be a small version of one of the bigger beings, like the Collector and the Grandmaster.
Yeah. Like an
Oh.
elder, an
Yeah.
elder god.
Universe.
Because the Elder of the Universe are generally larger than life, but it would make sense that it'd be smaller ones too. So, and the casting wise is very akin to your Benicio del Toro's and your Jeff Goldblum's.
Sure.
So there could be something to him being one of that type of leader that is self-appointed.
Was he
or-
hiding from Gore this whole time?
Or,
down
like-
below.
Oh,
Are they
ooh,
going to bring
that's
that back?
fun.
Well, I mean, they've established like eternity, and we saw the room that had a bunch of other of those kind of elder
Oh,
being
that's a
things.
funny idea.
Is he
A great
one of
connection.
those like hiding
we
away?
know we've seen concept art. We know there was a deleted scene where
With
he
Jeff
goes
Goldblum.
and finds the
Yeah.
Grandmaster.
I was always wondering if that was him going and being like, "Oh, you're not a god," and they would kind of have that line in the sand because we don't really know if the elders are considered gods in this universe. Like the hierarchy of power has to change.
Yeah.
We have to know.
Isn't a god, right? Just sort of like a higher being.
yeah,
Maybe
that's
Marvel does have a line there, but I would think like
They have better
two-
technology, or they better more powerful.
right,
you know.
two mortals, right? Like someone with immortality, which the Elders of the Universe kind of have, would be a god. I
Yeah,
would think.
but what would Gore be hunting in his purview? Because he killed a literal god of like myth immediately. So,
Right.
and we also don't know about I talk about all the time, but the heavens and hells and all those things. Like, is that going to be something they discuss and draw lines in?
Pocket dimensions.
We're gonna get Gore trying
back.
to kill Mephisto in Ironheart. That's gonna be the storyline.
Oh.
And a little bit of
Sorry,
Ironheart
Ironheart. Sorry.
thrown in there somewhere. Now, one other thing to bring up about Lord Krylar is they're really leaning heavy on the news and the kind of press for this movie that like there's some sort of weird relationship between Janet Van Dyne and Lord Krylar. I mean, she was down there long enough; she can do whatever she wants. Her husband didn't come to get her, so what are you gonna do? She thought she was on her own. It's Castaway down there.
And you know what's interesting? There's the Comic-Con trailer that never got released where he goes, Janet?
Janet?
And we never hear that line of dialogue. The only thing we've seen from him is the one shot in that first trailer. We haven't seen him in any of the TV spots. We've heard personally at New Rockstars that like Janet is going to feature a lot more heavily in this movie. Obviously in the first two, she wasn't really in those that much. But it seems like this relationship is going to be really kind of front and center, especially when it comes to putting a wedge between Hope and Janet.
Sure.
Right.
Well, and like very little Hank in the trailers. We've had one line
Yeah.
from Hank. I just saved $8.
I just saved
That's
$8.
it. That's it.
It is interesting how we're this close to release and we haven't really had a lot of the stuff we saw the longest ago, and we've had all the alternate lines from Kang. The alternate lines from Kang make me think we're going to meet multiple Kangs, and those actually might be different.
They're going to
Kangs.
repeat the scene
It's
over and
crazy.
over
Yeah,
again.
and I honestly think we're going to get
I
like
can't see a scene where
Was it-
Scott's like, I've heard the same.
it's the anti-Doctor
I've
Strange
heard it.
scene.
Yeah.
So I can see that happening, but it's weird that there's a lot of full-on scenes we haven't seen since July.
The new one today was crazy. When he was like, Whopper, 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 Whopper. That was
Junior
great.
double
Boom.
bacon whopper.
Now, Lord Krylar does exist in the comics. He's an alien scientist in the microverse, which is kind of the quantum realm in the comics. He served the warlord Vissus and had a machine capable of physically generating someone's deepest fear.
Whoa.
Scarecrow.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Or
A popular
things in
a popular device in
Harry Potter?
Bogarts.
Oh, yeah, Bogarts, thank you.
Bogarts, you got to imagine something funny. And then throw a shoe at it. Krylar also assisted the Hulk in fighting a doppelganger of his, but it was later killed by Vissus.
Oh,
That's
R.I.P.
okay.
Lord Krylar from the
Now
comics.
another character we've seen very little of is Quaz. Quaz. We're gonna go with Quaz. Yes, this is
Look
played
how
by
sad.
This is played by William Jackson
sad he
Harper.
is.
You know him from Midsommar and The Good Place and tons of other stuff. Now there is speculation that this could be the hero Quasar. We don't know that for sure. In the comics, Quasar is also known as Wendell Vaughn, aka Marvel Boy, and later Marvel Man.
Good for him.
Did he have a
Grow up.
Marvel
Grow
mitzvah,
up.
or what happened?
Well, he met a young Marvel lady, and they
Oh.
did the Marvelous, if you will.
Wow.
Oh,
It's a
Marvel.
good place.
And like Quasar's been around. He's affiliated over time with the Avengers. Everyone's been an Avenger in the comics. He was in Sword at one point, part of Project Pegasus, which has been mentioned in the MCU before.
Oh.
So we don't know. We kind of talked around like this could be a child of Kang. I don't know. That's not who Quasar is in the comics, but again, we don't know that this is Quasar. People are just assuming that maybe it is because Quasar is a character who fits into Cosmic Marvel, and even though this is Quantum Realm, this is Cosmic Marvel in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I love that. That was MT's theory that he had on Slack for a long time.
Yeah. And it still could be true.
Totally.
by all
Well,
means.
you know, everyone was saying William Jackson Harper is being cast as Reed. Blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah, blah. Probably not the case. I do think you don't cast an actor like that. I mean, I know we got Lake Bell for like a half a second in
Wakanda
Wakanda
Forever.
Forever. I do think William Jackson Harper at this point is maybe like a little bit more well-known than her. I don't think you cast William Jackson Harper as like a guy off to the side.
I also think
for
that where he
5
is in his
minutes.
career, he wouldn't want to necessarily. I could see
Yeah.
him wanting to leap from TV to a franchise. I could
Yeah.
see like where he just is. For
This isn't
where
a
he is.
one-off, is what you're
I
thinking.
don't think he would want it to be a one-off. Like it'd be good exposure, but
you can't
I
say no though to
yeah, I mean-
Marvel if they say we got you for one.
Like,
And in
no, we could do
fairness,
it. But
we've
the
seen a
Kazar-
ton of, we've seen Michelle Yeoh play multiple characters in the MCU and
yeah.
a couple other folks.
But I like the Quasar idea just because
Jenna
just because it is that type of character, and we are going more cosmic with the Beyonder, I think, coming in Secret Wars and those things. So I could see him being that. It's just we have no context in a direction, so it could almost be like a guy with one line. But I hope it's not.
Well, it does kind of seem like that, right, from this photo. Oh, we only have one photo, but it does kind of seem like he's going to be like one of the freedom fighters with like six lines
He's a
of dialogue.
generic freedom fighter outfit. Yeah. I hope he is a Reed Richards, and every couple of movies between now and Fantastic Four, they introduce a Reed Richards and kill him.
And then have the Council
Like,
of
it
that
was
would
like,
be
which one is it going to be?
so
And then the
fun.
Council of Reeds is
Yeah.
all those actors coming back in Secret Wars.
Which one is it?
They're just sitting in a circle.
Now
doing
we
this.
all get to be Reed
And it's
Richards.
always the people who are rumored. We're going to get Adam Driver.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
get Pedro Pascal.
Oh,
all
that'd
these
be
people who
Mike
are
is
rumored.
just trolling Reddit and be like, "That's who you nerds want. I'll hire him and I'll kill him."
just
Let
has him come in
Harvey
for an hour.
Firestein be Reed Richards.
Oh my God, Sue.
Oh my God, I'm fantastic.
There's just a green room that moves
sounds so
around LA
negative.
that just lets the actors
you
sit in
go.
a chair and
Yeah.
play a Council of Reed
Yeah, you
member.
sit down and they take 1,700 photos of your body and like, we got you. You're good.
The
You're
Doom
good.
portal is real. It's just Kevin Feige
yeah.
casting actors.
Well, speaking of the freedom fighters, we have Jentora. This is John Costa's favorite character. She is the leader of the freedom fighters. A
Does
group-
she have like cybernetic implants?
I don't know. This is like both organic and
Her
cybernetic
helmet is
looking.
like
I don't know.
spidery.
I don't know. Yeah, this looked like it could have been a shot from like Black Panther
Cyberpunk,
or
yeah.
the Eternals or
Yeah.
something. Very strange. Yeah, they're called the Freedom Fighters. A weird name, I think, for the quantum realm. Give it a cool quantum-y name.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I want to
I'm
interject
begging
here.
you.
First of all, allow me to defend the woman that we've discussed here today, as the men all preen and crow at her appearance.
I don't think
she's
she did that.
beautiful.
I don't think we
I
did
think
that.
every man on this panel
Tommy,
insulted
are you
her.
fighting us right now? What's happening?
Let me come to her rescue.
What's happening?
No, in defense, I think that a lot of these names are fake. I think the Freedom Fighters is going to be a fake name. I think
Freedom Fighters is pretty generic.
I think
So
I
generic.
think Lord Krylar is a misdirect. Like he may be introduced as Lord Krylar. I believe that character will be someone different, someone from Earth 616 that has gone into the quantum realm. I like the idea of him being like a quantum realm purist of like I have been around here the longest. But I also like to.
Has Marvel ever done the trope of like the person comes in and kills the person and then replaces the person and calls himself the person? Right? Like, can you imagine Bill
Mandarin?
Murray? Yeah, I guess a little
Almost.
bit, but it's flipped. Like, if you imagine Bill Murray is from 616, somehow gets trapped in the quantum realm, sees someone who like looks vaguely like him, kills him, assumes his personality and his role.
A Don Draper, if
Yeah.
you will.
Yes, I like it. I just think we're being I think that
I
like
think we're being misled.
Well, none of this
Or
has really
just-
been said. It's all been like tiny little
There was a
morsels.
press release. You can't lie in a press
That's what I'm
release.
saying. We've got no footage of most of it. I'm agreeing with you because like
I-
all of our footage is conjecture.
and I think and I think in the sense of like it's not a lie. It's just not the full story.
Sure. We want to be misled.
Yeah.
Please.
You know, in the way that like in the trailers they'll show things from reverse angles or is backwards or out of sequence.
I want
It's like,
all Marvel trailers to be the Hulk and like running with a fake team. Like if they
Yes.
just give us the tone via trailer and then let the movie be a surprise,
Yes.
because then everyone can scrutinize and find Easter eggs, but then you actually get an experience in the movie. I
Yes.
think they
This
should.
is a great time to talk about New Rockstar's newest channel, The Deep Dive, which is
Ah.
launching on February 17th. One of the videos coming out on the channel is going to explore how trailers lie to us. Eric did a ton of research, put together this like kind of like incredible, really detailed piece of like trailer editing versus movies versus intentionality versus this just got cut from the movie. I would tell you to go watch it, but you can't yet. But I have, and it's great. So February
Stay tuned.
17th.
February 17th. Go ahead and subscribe to the
Flex
Deep Dive.
on
2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Combat
subscribe
that silly
to the Deep Dive
lawsuit.
so you don't miss it. We also have. I can't believe you wrote this in the script, John. We have what we're calling Swirl Head Lightface Guy.
He doesn't have a
we
name.
saw this person in an early trailer. We haven't heard a voice. We don't really have a name for this person. Okay, there's this moment in another trailer. We see Kang putting like a ball inside of a device. Now, if you turn that device is like a tube we're seeing from the side. If you turned it, it would look like a little circle like that. Oh. And it could be that lighthead guy. It could be.
He's activating Lighthead.
That's
guy.
all I'm saying. It could be that lighthead guy.
Swirl face
When I am
lighthead
right,
guy.
I will wreak havoc at this office. Okay, I will destroy John.
I think, and this is my fault.
He's coming around.
As a producer of the show, it's my fault for not fully stamping this out. I do think we have a shot of that same device in a later trailer.
No, prove it.
And it's well, that's what I'm saying. I wish I had.
Show us now, or
I
it's-
wish I had. But one of the things you were saying was that you were saying that this could be Zeb.
It could also be Zeb because all of Zeb we saw was Zeb's head.
Oh, and
Zeb's dead, babe.
his
Zeb's
group
dead.
evolved.
And for me, I think MODOK has like a little carrier that they put his weird head in.
Maybe.
So I like this idea that
That
maybe
could also be Zeb.
What?
And Zeb's weird goopy head gets put on that body. I don't know.
I would
We'll
love
see.
if Dust Mulching gets to evolve like a Pokemon.
Yeah,
like
great.
he gets to just like
I'm
get.
getting stronger.
That's Charizard Dust Mulching.
We also have the forearm bartender. You know you got forearms? You're supposed to be a
I think that
bartender or a drummer.
I think that this scene is going to be more important than we expect. It's like we saw those shots in Multiverse of Madness trailer of like Doctor Strange and America and God, what's Rachel McAdams' character's name?
Christine Palmer.
Christine Palmer. Walking down that
John.
hallway and opening that thing. We saw the watch on
Right,
the thing. We're like, what is that? And it was, the watch was a key, and it was opening to get the Book of Ashanti, all that kind of stuff. I think later on in the trailer, we see them sort of like opening a portal in a world that looks relatively similar. I think the Freedom Fighters have taken them to like their speakeasy hangout place, and they're gonna like portal them to some kind of really pivotal location in the quantum realm. I think this is like a late second act moment.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I would assume that Speakeasy is like an anti-Scum and Villainy cantina, where it's a place Kang can't see.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a place like beyond his ability to interact with. So they have like a place out of time, because the Freedom Fighters are going to need a safe haven, and presumably from Kang.
Place
or maybe
beyond
Bilber.
Kang.
But yeah, I think a place beyond Kang is that forearm
A
bartender.
non-Kang hangout.
A place beyond the Kangs. I
Yes.
love that Ryan.
Bradley Cooper, Ryan Gosling joint.
That Goosling film?
Good. And then, of course, we have MODOK. We've talked about MODOK already. This is Darren Cross, or at least his face. And then at some point, he gets this little body.
Why did I give him a mouth where he's scowling?
I will say, if we bring that image up one more time,
Warface.
human proportioned hands and arms.
Yeah, that's how MODOK is.
those
The
guys
head's
shrunk
big.
Spaced way out.
Yeah.
No, but
they got shrunk
to
first.
put your sort of Yellow Jacket theory all tied in a bow, right? Like, they got shrunk first.
And then he
Yeah,
gets down
you
there.
see the arm, one arm goes in first,
Yeah.
and then it kind of all happens quickly.
So then maybe he's just like Goopy Boy, has to get a shell, but the arm stayed, so you got to go around the arms.
Yeah.
And now he's a machine
Goofy
designer.
boy.
Like,
If I'm being transformed into anything, I want my thumbs.
You gotta have thumbs.
I got a dog. He doesn't have thumbs.
changes everything.
Yeah, he's
It's
bad
a
at
big
driving.
difference. It's a big difference. He's bad at driving.
Now, I also think MODOK is going to be our classic Marvel moment where you have like the joke of the name moment. In No Way Home, this was like, your name's Otto Octavius? Spider-Man's always making this joke, right? They did it in Infinity War when he's like, oh, Doctor Strange, we're using our superhero names? They love this.
gangster
They
in that
love
film.
this bit in MCU because, yes, Marvel and DC and all comic books have silly names, guys. We get it. This will be the joke name moment of the movie when the name MODOK is revealed, but it will not stand for the traditional machine organism designed only for killing. It'll have some other goofy name, and Darren Cross will hate being called MODOK, and he'll be like, "Don't call me that. My name's Darren Cross." And I'm like, "Whatever, MODOK."
Yeah, I could see Darren Cross, like in the first Ant-Man movie, like was so full of himself and thought he was like the savior of the universe. I could see him being like shrunk down to the quantum realm. It's like, who are you? No one cares.
I mean, to
and
be
he's just
fair-
like really.
So he
got a
makes
chip
that
on his
harsh
shoulder.
face to be like
Yeah,
intense.
yeah.
Darren Cross was also constantly being gaslit because he was told that like pin particles don't exist, and they did exist.
Well, and he was going crazy because he had cross particles
Yes.
messing with his brain.
Because you're
free Darren Cross.
Yes, free Darren
He
Cross.
did nothing wrong.
Oh my God.
The reason Ant-Man has a helmet is because the pin particles will drive you insane, and you have to have the helmet.
Hank Pym, kind of a dick.
Yes.
He's creating these pin particles.
Yes.
He's like, these are gonna drive you crazy.
Guys.
They drove me crazy, and I beat the shit out of my wife in the comics.
Save it for our 6-hour live stream after this. Are the bad guys getting a bad rap in the MCU?
We could do a show about
Deep
that.
dive.
We'll
Yeah, we could.
discuss that more, but first, be sure to check out nerdriot.shop where we have our latest merch designs based on Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. They're up for sale right now. I'm wearing one of the many designs.
Ooh.
This one says Lost Time, and it's Ant-Man's head, and it's shrinking.
Oh,
They got
now
the
I
lines.
see it.
And John's wearing a hoodie covered in
Ooh.
dog hair.
Oh, that's
God.
I didn't
Turn
lint-
back around.
John
I
didn't roll
didn't
the
lint
front
roll
of
the
it.
back
so
of
much
my.
dog hair.
I didn't lint roll
Turn
the back
back
of my-
around.
There's a design on the front.
When you buy merch from nerdriot.shop, it will not be covered.
It comes
in dog
pre-hair.
It does.
Now, you might be saying to yourself, I've heard you guys say New Rockstars merch.com all the time. What's nerdriot.shop? Well, we're working more closely with our merch partners at Nerd Riot to bring you more awesome merch based on New Rockstars and the different fandoms that we all love. So part of that partnership, we got a new link, nerdriot.shop. You'll love it. MT even helped design one of the Quantumania shirts featuring Kang. It's the Vitruvian Kang.
Wait, Jess, come here.
And are you interrupting my
sorry.
merch spot to
Well,
yell at
she's
Jessica?
got merch on.
Oh,
great,
Jessica's
too.
also wearing some merch. She does not want to be called out right now. She's
Sorry,
wearing
Jess.
our Black Panther Wakanda Forever shirt. She's working on her re-breakdown as we speak. You can still get this shirt at nerdriot.shop. You can get all of our awesome
Be gone.
the Watts Quantumania merch. And if you order now, you can get it in time for opening weekend. We rarely have our shirts ahead of time. We're on the ball this time, folks.
It's really nice.
Yeah, wear it to the theater. You see another person wearing the shirt, be like, "You like New Rockstars?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, I like New Rockstars."
That is always fun. I like those moments.
yeah.
Like the
Call
same
'em
shirt
out.
moments at the theater.
Call them out. Be like, "New Rockstars, man, I see you. I see you."
Plus,
I see you, Jake Sully.
This is like peak excitement for this movie.
Yeah.
And a little bit after the movie comes out, but then we're gonna be like all talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and we'll have
Yeah.
new merch for that, like while we're super excited about it.
This shirt will live on as time moves forward.
What do you guys think we get before we leave the quantum realm? What do you think we get in the Super Bowl trailer? The days leading up to the movie.
Well, hold your horses.
Oh, well, I might have skipped.
We're going to talk about Super Bowl stuff.
read the
So
script.
check out all the merch options at nerdriot.shop. Do it. You did it. It supports the channel.
Hey,
Let's
the
talk
Super
about
Bowl.
Super Bowl
Super
trailers.
Bowl's coming up.
Coy jumped the gun.
Guys, I'm a time traveler, and
Super
I
Bowl.
jumped back in my body too soon.
The Super Bowl's coming up. It's in a couple of weeks. It's the Sunday before Quantumania comes out, if that's how you live your life like I do.
A week from
That's what I was thinking.
Well, wait.
this Sunday, it'll be a week from that.
Yes.
So it's Sunday, so we'll have The Last of Us after show, and then there'll be no show Monday. So there'll be no opportunity for us to talk about these things.
Tommy, no.
Tommy, no.
Tommy, no.
Tommy,
The
no.
Breakroom is going to be live
What?
after the Super Bowl, talking about all of the trailers that
gonna be a
came
busy
out
Sunday.
during
Who
the
will be
Super
there?
Bowl.
I'll
I
be-
don't exactly know yet.
I'll be drunk, suffering massive gambling losses.
Oh, no.
Just
That's
kidding.
horrible.
Pit ready.
It's horrible. We're going to be right here after the Super Bowl. I don't know exactly what time that movie.
Good movie.
That game.
You know, a lot of
that
people
game
would
was
agree
gonna
that
end.
it's rigged just like a movie,
Yeah.
John.
Scripted.
I
So
don't
The
know.
NFL just
We don't know what
scripting it
time
all
it's going to
out.
end. It could go into overtime. Who knows? We do know we're getting a bunch of trailers, and we're going to want to talk about them as soon as that ends. Eric Voss is going to have his own reactions to specific trailers that we'll put out probably during the Super Bowl. But after the Super Bowl, we're going to be here talking about all of them in one place. Convenient for you. And I just want to kind of go over what trailers we're expecting, and then maybe we can talk about what we kind of think we'll get out of them. The one that I'm the most excited about, I know this is crazy. I'm really excited for the Marvels too. We'll get to that in a second. The Flash.
Cringe.
Everyone has said this is the greatest
They're talking
superhero
up this movie a lot.
of all time, and I just want to know if I should buy into the hype or if it's hyperbole. If I see the trailer, I'll be like, oh yeah, that looks like it's going to be one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. I mean, maybe they'll cut a bad trailer, but Warner Brothers historically, was Man of Steel trailers, good.
They
Justice
use a
League
song?
trailers,
Do they
pretty
use
good.
a popular song? Or do they just go score?
Yeah, you're right. Suicide Squad trailer, really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do they use a song like...
I think they'll Flash.
Yeah, do they do Grease Lightning? I don't know.
Yeah. So I think we don't really know too much about the plot of this movie. We got some stuff at DC Fandom in 2020, but if I'm being honest, it's been 2.5 years.
Right.
I don't really
We
remember.
know that there's a Batman in
Yeah.
it, and there's no
There's
longer
a
a
couple
Batman
of
in it.
Flashes.
We got a couple Batmans and a
There
couple
was a
flashes.
Superman.
There was two
Yeah.
flashes
No
and a
more
couple shots.
Superman. Yeah.
So I'm really excited to just have more about this to talk about and see what this movie's going to be all about.
Okay.
I'm thrilled.
That'll be a good one.
I'm very excited for Flash.
Yeah. For Universal, that was Warner Brothers. We're only expecting.
That's all we're expecting from them.
Maybe they'll give us something from Shazam that we've already seen before, but really, the Flash, they've sort of pre-announced that they're going to put that trailer out. From Universal, on the 10th, so a couple of days before the Super Bowl, Universal's having this big event for Fast 10, and then they're going to have a trailer at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that probably on Friday before the Super Bowl, if we can get our hands on it before we go live. We're also getting a 15-second Cocaine Bear
15
teaser
seconds? Oh, it's very expensive
before the game.
That's not very good.
It's a
Cocaine Bear.
low-budget movie. They only paid for 15 seconds before the game. So if you
No.
want to see more about Cocaine Bear,
It would be great if it's a
Tune in.
15-second trailer on cocaine, and it's like if you slow it,
Oh,
if
that's
you play it
fun.
at one
Ah,
at like
I like
0.25 speed,
Brandon,
it's
you
at
should be in
normal.
marketing.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Put me in
I'm
marketing.
just saying 15 seconds is pretty stepped on. This is a messy cocaine.
That's
game.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I'm excited
we're
about that.
also hearing probably no Mario.
Yeah, they
probably
put
no
out a lot of Mario stuff. They might.
Yeah.
They don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to pay the Super Bowl prices. I think that movie's going to do. very well.
Yeah.
Can you skip this section real
Yeah.
fast? For Paramount, we're expecting Scream 6. Whitney was in the office earlier. Very exciting. This next movie, too, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Tommy's excited about Transformers Rise of the Beast.
Wow!
It's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah.
We're not expecting, which is what I would be most hyped
Yeah.
for, is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. We've seen a couple things from that movie. We've seen some weird featurettes and some crazy
I
stunt
like
jumps
stunt-
and stuff.
Stunt
Yeah,
show
that stunt
they put
video's
on.
incredible.
But boy, those movies, especially
boy.
after Top Gun Maverick, like I'm ready for more Tom Cruise tomfoolery. We're not expecting anything from Sony, so don't expect a trailer for Morbius 2.
Not morbid time.
Craven the Hunter, Madam Web, any of those projects. And according to Deadline, we might be getting trailers for John Wick Chapter 4 or Creed 3.
Oh.
They reached out to those studios for comment and didn't hear back
We
from
already
them.
have trailers for both of those.
We do.
I also feel like Creed 3 is the most on-brand audience, though.
It
like
is.
a
Yeah,
sports
totally.
And
movie
it's
with
2
a
weeks
sports
after
crowd.
that it drops.
Yeah,
March 3rd it
I'd
comes
put
out.
some money, not a lot because of gambling on the Super Bowl, but I would say some money, Creed 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go over our Super Bowl bets in that post show too. See who cleaned
See how
up,
that worked
Who
out.
who cleaned up, and who's
Also-
got to find a new place to live.
Not enough people are talking about the fact that not only is Michael B. Jordan directing Creed 3 as well as starring in it, but it's the first sports movie to use IMAX cameras in the boxing ring.
That's a
Oh.
surprise to me.
No one's talking about that.
Well,
I'm
because
very
normally they
excited
got to
for this
hide
movie.
everything. They don't want crystal clear.
Like
giant
that's going to be so
Oh,
insane.
yeah.
to
Is
have
there a
those-
punching-
Have you ever
punching
seen the
this?
outtakes of like how bad the boxing really looks?
Oh, it's
In, like,
crazy.
it's like the hooks are like this.
I do love the story, right, that Stallone punched the shit out of Michael B. Jordan when they were filming the first movie.
If only that was an IMAX.
Yeah.
But like that's what's intense about this is like Dolph Lundgren hit him so hard he went in the hospital. Like the violence on these movies can be insane. So I'm really curious about in IMAX what that's going to be. And it's also like the trilogy I think that most people are waiting for. Like I'm more excited for Creed than most things. So it's surprising that like the word of mouth hasn't gotten past that trailer to me. So I don't know. 323 is not that far
Hey,
away.
people are going to see Jonathan Majors in Quantumania, and they're going to be like, "Oh, he's going to be in this Creed thing? Yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah.
let's go."
Let's go.
As for Disney, we're getting trailers for The Little Mermaid. Get hyped
So they did
for
describe that as a teaser.
Okay,
Too.
well-
So it's like they
Well,
have a teaser already, and I don't know if it's going to be
But that
any
wasn't
more.
even really a teaser, right? That was like,
like
a
part of the song?
part of a scene.
Right. Well, it was a teaser in that it was a true teaser where it was like
I want to see
some
Ursula.
sets, and it
I want to
was just-
see,
just
you
the
know, I
Little
want to see
Mermaid,
some.
just Ariel.
That was the biggest moment I thought from D23 was how like stunning that footage was because we knew what to expect for a lot of stuff and a lot of the reveals were great. But I think we were all struck by Little Mermaid, so I really want more. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. We're getting a trailer for Pixar's Elemental, which is like, for me, seems sort of inside outy about two elements, I think fire and water falling in love. Hearing possibly another trailer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, very exciting. And then we are getting spots for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yes, please. Hearing possibly we might get something for the Marvels, too. I don't quite understand how it's possibly, right? Like, you'd think that they would have their spots all sort of locked in. Maybe
Yeah,
it's like if the
that would be
game
a
runs
surprise.
long or whatever.
They got the spots, but they don't know what they want to put out,
Yeah.
right? I think that's where they're at. And the Marvels is very interesting because I think everyone who saw the footage of D23 was very surprised by it and was like, oh, this looks great. Put this out. Like, let's get the hype going for this movie.
As a
and they
remi-
haven't revealed anything
Yeah.
yet. And that's due for this summer.
July.
Yeah.
As a reminder, last year we got the Multiverse of Madness trailer that had Patrick Stewart in it. Big moment. The year before that, we had a trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was pretty cool.
Good call,
The year before that, I work in Rockstars. The year before that, we got that tease of WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and the
Right.
Winter Soldier. But this year, we're not expecting anything from Secret Invasion.
I don't think that show exists.
Yeah, it might not.
It's
right?
so secret.
So secret.
I would love some other Disney Plus stuff, like a Loki something or other.
mean,
But if
I-
they're not giving us a
yeah.
Secret Invasion, I'm not
I
expecting.
want the Secret Invasion trailer where it looks like it's a trailer for something else. And then the
Yeah, we were
characters
saying that
change.
turns into a scroll.
That'd be
Like if it
it's a
started
Tide
as like a
commercial.
Loki 2 thing, and
Oh,
you
that'd
were
be
like,
so
oh, this
much
is great.
fun.
And then Loki changes, and and you're like, oh.
Yes.
Do something like that. That's another free one for you, Feige.
So we'll be
marketing
here. We'll be here after the game, late night on Sunday, talking about all this stuff. We're also going to be putting out our Last of Us episode, I think 5 after show that night.
Yeah.
We'll see you back on Tuesday of that week to get excited
cover
for
all
Ant-Man and the
that.
Wasp: Quantumania.
When we get to it, but yeah, gonna be a busy Sunday. Busy Sunday.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
say,
it. That's all
Tommy?
I
It's
have.
time for mandatory fun.
What happened, Tommy?
Oh no.
I think just the wind has been taken out of my sail.
Oh no! What happened?
Oh, it's mandatory fun. It's the segment that I do with my 3 best friends.
Oh,
where I
okay.
ask
That's really
them
kind
to
of
have
you.
a little fun with me.
Yeah, that's nice.
Dave Bautista has been in his feelings lately about his acting career.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
expressed a desire to be in a rom-com.
Oh, interesting.
I've gathered 3 experts to be in my writer's room to help me flesh out a few Bautista rom-com ideas I've cooked up.
It's right because we were the 3 people that James Gunn was consulting on for his DCU slate.
Yeah, well, it's amazing that I've now brought you guys in.
You thought of some ideas
Yeah.
for a rom-com for Dave Bautista.
Yes.
Because, this was kind of a funny headline we saw. He was kind of complaining, very thirsty. That's do not play the graphic.
Play the graphic.
Do not play the
graphic.
graphic.
Where's the
It was a
graphic?
very
There it is. There it is.
I'm proud of this.
Look at them. I'm proud of them.
I like that. Every time I look at the penguin.
Simu's,
That penguin really gets me.
Simu's jaw unhinges like a cobra.
I don't even know who's on the far right. I've completely forgotten.
I hate it. Yeah, he's kind of like begging to be in a rom-com. When he put it as like, am I not pretty enough for your rom-com?
Say that. He's like, I
In the
look in the
same way
mirror.
that we've all gone on Instagram and been like, do I look okay? And everyone has to be like, yeah, you look great.
I feel so gross in this outfit. All right. First pitch.
Okay, so this is a pitch I have.
We're ready.
This is the
We're
first
going to pitch us. We're going to help you with this.
I'm
pitch.
gonna need you to go.
Should I call
I'm gonna
Dave?
need you to stop scrolling up.
Okay.
The title is called "With This Ring."
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
That's
You know,
like a
classic
rom-com.
bow.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista is Caleb,
Oh.
a local journalist who wants to get engaged to his fiancee Fiona,
Wow.
played by Rachel McAdams.
She also played Christine Palmer, John. I don't know if you know
Okay, yeah.
The only problem is Fiona's parents won't approve of Caleb unless he buys a huge, sparkling wedding ring.
that. Oh, okay.
Caleb has no choice but to turn to a life of MMA fighting
that's
and
interesting.
enters a bloody underground fight to the
weird.
death tournament with a $1 million prize.
Oh.
That sounds like sort of more of an action movie.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like
Okay.
a rom-com as much.
Okay, well, you know, I have a few.
Okay.
Okay.
This one's called Second Chances.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Dave Bautista plays Nolan,
Oh.
a local journalist who wants to get engaged to his fiancée, played by Andy McDowell.
Oh,
The only
what's her
problem,
name?
that's some interesting casting. I like that
Megan.
one.
The only
Okay.
problem is Megan's parents are dark magic wizards
Oh.
who have raised an army of undead ex-cons to do their
why
bidding.
did they ex-con?
Nolan must play judge, jury, and sexecutioner
Oh.
in this gory bloodbath that asks, do we ever really get a second chance?
Why do they have to be ex-cons when they're
Because it's the second chance. It's the point
Oh,
of the
okay.
second
This
chance.
one's actually great. I will say, a lot of blood still.
Okay, I think this one's.
I've had a couple friends who tried to set up movies at like Lifetime
Yeah.
or wherever.
Yeah.
They tried.
Slashes. People are
Truly,
big on slashes.
this is a true story. My friend did a treatment for Lifetime, and they said, "Can't have a mom with cancer. Too sad.
Oh.
Too sad." So I think the blood is like
What if it's on Netflix and Zack Snyder directs it because they're friends and we get an
He
action
wants
Snyder
to be
film?
in
on
a
Netflix?
rom-com.
That's
But it's
not
a
a bad.
rom-com.
It's not a bad idea. I have a few
time.
more that I think are maybe a little more in the wheelhouse
Okay.
that we're asking for.
Okay.
But I do want to remind everyone tomorrow we've got a sadistic super chat.
No, I don't.
That
Oh,
is
you're right.
going
Oh,
to be
God, we should
so
have said something
disgusting.
earlier.
I'm kind of glad super chats have been a little light today. They've been great. Everyone who did them, we appreciate it. I hope that's because you're all saving your shekels.
Christian
for what,
Unpronounceable says Happy Pre-Friday.
thank you, Christian. I
And then
hope.
he says he pee pee. There
What?
will not
Tomorrow?
be urine, I don't believe.
Not good.
We haven't said a
I
lie for
mean,
nothing.
urine. All right. This next title is called Playing It Safe.
Oh, okay.
Dave Bautista is Preston, a local journalist who wants to get engaged to his fiancee Florence, played by Kelly McDonald.
This is much better. Thank
The
you.
only problem is Florence is locked away in an intergalactic safe deposit box after being kidnapped by Mr. Blister, a sentient bubbling moon created in the lab by Dr. Nasty,
Would you
played
say-
by Patrick Stewart. Preston must
played by, or is Patrick Stewart actually Dr. No?
He may be.
Okay.
Preston must travel through time and space to release the flow.
Oh, gross.
Oh,
Ay, ay.
man.
Gross.
Hey, so
I'm the-
goopy.
That one's rough. A lot of goop today.
All right, if you guys don't like that, this is the last idea I have, and then I'm feeling really embarrassed that I even worked. I mean, I spent 15 minutes
Okay.
writing these.
Well, you came to your three best friends, your writer's room. You
Yeah,
called us,
I guess-
and
you
we're
know
trying
what?
to punch up, but
You're
you're not
right.
taking our notes.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're
I
right.
don't
No,
know.
this
You're just
feedback
punching
is
down.
good. I'll watch back after we air this. I will watch back and I'll take these notes.
Okay.
My last suggestion: never judge a book.
Oh,
Smart.
Dave Bautista is Chase, a local journalist
A local
who is
journalist.
leading a book burning effort in the
come
conservative
on.
sector
that
of
went
Praxis
south.
Prime,
Oh, boy.
a mirror dimension that exists in the brains of parasite-infected sheep.
Okay. That
He
sounds
desperately wants to get engaged to Clorpus Christi, a half-man, half-barstool, played by Succession breakout star Matthew McFadden.
Oh, okay. I
Can
like that
Chase
one for him.
finally make an honest stool of Clorpus Christi? Or will the librarians, a rogue gang of synthetic pleasure droids who seek only to who speak only in the Dewey Decimal System, destroy his happily ever after.
Honestly, for me, that's
I like
the one.
last
That is
one.
a very
no
existent
notes on the
experience.
last
Yeah.
one.
Corpus Christi's in the chat, guys.
This is
Wow.
never judge a book. That's what we're calling this one, huh?
Yeah.
I like the last one. I think that's your best chance.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's not
That
very
is-
Because it
rom-com-y.
does come around. We got pleasure droids.
I'll be honest. That was the one I was hoping you guys would play.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
okay.
Well,
Best for last.
So, Dave Bautista, we know you're listening. If you like any of the
Your representation
ideas,
will reach
call me.
out.
Yeah.
We're going to get you in a straightforward rom-com this year. Enough with the action, enough with
Yeah.
the thrillers, enough with the sci-fi. We're doing straightforward rom-com.
Well, they have a little bit of all of those, I think. I don't think it's
I
a straight
only
I
heard
wouldn't
it.
call it pleasure droid
You know,
action.
Yeah.
I think, like Andy Muschietti, I'm a master of tone as well.
Oh.
He's gonna direct Superman like you wouldn't believe.
That's right.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Coy, I do apologize. We didn't put it in the script. We do have a little bit of time. Yes. If you want to talk DC.
Turn him loose!
All right. Turn him
We
loose.
don't have any kind of
Structure.
or structure
Well, this
or
is.
agenda.
I think you're.
Jessica's off to the side saying no.
I think
Okay,
your
give me. We got 6 minutes. I just need 2.
Your biggest
Okay.
thing that surprised us was you said you think Andy Muschietti will be directing Superman
I think he's going to direct
Legacy.
Superman Legacy. Okay, let's start with Superman Legacy. What I'm most excited about of this experience, we're going to start with Superman Legacy. Is I
If
think,
anyone can do it fast.
yeah, that's what we're here. Let's see if I can get through all 10 in a reasonable time. All right, so Superman Legacy, which is me. Okay, Superman Legacy I'm most excited about because we're getting an all-star Superman take. We saw that in the imagery. It's called Superman Legacy. I don't think it's about him dying. I don't think that's about the state of what Superman ends at. I think it's about him building a legacy, him growing as a person, him growing as a character. I think we're going to get Jimmy, we're going to get Daily Planet, we're going to get all those things that we want for the heart of Superman. I think it's really important that right now, as the world is so dark, as everything is so despairing, we do get the Superman in bright red trunks. Superman was invented in 1938. 4
Did you
years.
answer the poll?
What poll?
The trunks poll?
Oh, yeah, I did. Superman was invented in 1938, 4 years before World War II. We were in the thick of a depression. Right now is probably one of the worst times America's gone through. Now we need Superman more than ever, so I want a bright, shining Superman, a la All-Star Superman, and I think that we need him now more than ever. I think a slightly younger take is going to work, and I think the way they're building this is absolutely the right move for DC. Going over to The Authority. The Authority is a really interesting take because you're going to have a team of characters that are a lot like the Justice League, but are like an anti-justice Justice League, and you have the Suicide Squad already. So building in a character set that is already a commentary on these characters that are a commentary on the DC universe itself is fascinatingly meta because The Authority was a Wildstorm imprint that was a commentary in DC that then merged into DC. So this is actually doing a thing that is happening in the comic books next month. There's going to be a book called Waller versus the Wildstorm, and that is going to be about bringing Wildstorm into the comic books, and then 2 years later we're going to see that in the theaters. So a commentary on Batman and Superman in a universe where Batman and Superman exist, fascinating. In 2021 we actually had a Superman and the Authority book, and I think that's going to be a factor. So that world of an anti-justice Justice League alongside the Suicide Squad I think is going to be fun to play with. Next up we got The Brave and the Bold. This is the Batman movie that is going to be about the Bat family. I think it's very smart to bring in Damian Wayne because Damian Wayne effectively ages up your Batman. That puts Batman in a different position. Also, the darkness of Damian Wayne, him being an assassin, allows for us to have a lighter Bruce Wayne. I've said time and time again, I think the Pattinson Batman very, very importantly stay over here. I love that universe. I'm so excited about the universe. I would sacrifice most universes for that universe. But with this choice of Batman, we get to have the Pattinson darkness, the brooding, the thing that wouldn't really work to have Green Lantern land in it, frankly, with a lighter Batman that is going to be more applicable to the Justice League because of Damian Wayne. That also establishes a Nightwing that's probably going to exist, perhaps a Red Hood. It builds out the Bat family that so many people have been wanting for so long, and perhaps is an Adam West-ish tone. Not that far, but a closer to Adam West than perhaps Nolan. It's going to be a little lighter for Batman because he's a parent. Next up, we've got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, this is the one I'm probably most excited for, and this is my biggest pop of the whole presentation. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is based off one of my favorite comic runs of all time. Tom King is one of my favorite writers ever. He wrote one of my favorite Batmans. He wrote my favorite Supergirl to date, which is Woman of Tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure he's actually writing this movie. He's been tweeting a lot about all the Hollywood stuff he's been working on, and he's one of the best writers in the game. Mr. Miracle is, bar none, my favorite DC book. You heard me, Frank Miller's Everything. I love Mr. Miracle, and that's a Tom King book. So it leans very recent, but what it is an almost Star Wars-esque scope in tail in scope. What it does is it takes Supergirl off planet, and she's a very isolated individual. She was born on an asteroid. She knows the trauma of loss. She has missed out on the part of Superman that is Ma and Pop Kent raising him. She doesn't have that love, and she's still a hero. So I love that she's able to overcome the isolation, and she's a little more brusque for it. So she's a little bit more of a badass. She's the version of a character that some other people might want more, but without the neck snapping. So I'm really excited for her to be able to be a little bit more brusque and grow as a character, and the whole story is about her not letting someone else strike vengeance. There's a little girl that is orphaned that wants to strike vengeance on this alien, and basically she's like, I will shoulder the burden of killing someone. You're an innocent little girl, and she rides a badass horse because she's able to get there flyer even though she can fly. Fantastic book. It's only 8 issues, very accessible, just sold out on Amazon today. I'm very proud of that book. Swamp Thing is going to be, I think, the boldest swing for DC because I think this allows for a full-on horror movie. I think this is going to be DC having all these horror directors in their slate as a very useful tool. It looks like, though, James Mangold, it looks like he did share an Instagram post at like midnight the night of, and I would love to just hear from the producer of Slither and the director of Logan on a movie. I think that's going to be a fantastic duo to make a movie. I think they're going to lean a lower budget, and I think that's also a strength of a lot of this slate. Short of Supergirl and Superman, you can make these for a lower budget, which is going to be very good for Zaslav turning things around financially, and I think it's going to be very good to show James Gunn's ability to profit. If you make an $80 million James Mangold directed Swamp Thing that makes $300 million, that is a bigger profit than perhaps doing a $300 million Swamp Thing. So I want very practical, I want very existential. They reference the Alan Moore run, which I'd highly recommend. It's a very trippy journey into what reality is, and I think it very much suits this new DC universe. We've also got Creature Commandos. Hold on one second.
Pause for water.
Doing great.
Pause
for water.
Double fist. You have 1 minute.
Okay. We've also got Creature Commandos, which is the most obscure of these to me. I didn't actually know this title, but it looks like he's doing what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. This isn't from one run of Guardians, nor are those characters. This isn't from one run of Creature Commandos. He gathered his own greatest hits. So the Bride of Frankenstein seems to be the leader. I'm very excited to see more about this team, and I'm really curious about how obscure of a character set this becomes for fans of that title that I don't know. Waller, I think, is going to be a Peacemaker spinoff that ties in, again, the world they're building out with Wildstorm. I do think this is going to be a cameo-tastic world, and I also think this is going to be a really fun journey into the psychology of Waller. We had Peacemaker get likable. I think it's time for Waller to get likable. Lanterns, this was described as True Detective, and I think this is going to be basically Hal Jordan passing the torch over to Jon Stewart, and this being a mystery that ties into the whole greater universe and a True Detective style is going to be fascinating. And I also think it's going to establish a terrestrial take that's going to end with him going out to outer space, and people have wanted Green Lantern for a very long time. I think there's a lot of stakes in this choice, and I think having a water cooler conversation show like True Detective on HBO is very smart. It'll be like Last of Us, where we all talk about it every week. We need a Lantern show, and we need them to be about justice in a very unique and interesting way. Booster Gold is probably the most topical of all these shows. This is a show about people, a guy coming back from the future and using future tech in a way that he is able to basically be a hero by default. So this guy is smarmy, he's attention-seeking, he's a bit of a douche, but I think that's going to be very interesting in the TikTok world where a lot of people do stuff for clout. I want to see a character that is basically trying to be a hero in the eyes of people just by being famous. I think it's very topical. I think it's going to lean into the insecurities of the world today, and I think it's going to be very, very 2025. And then finally, Paradise Lost is a take on Themyscira. There are a couple comics that are actually about the Amazonians without Diana. It seems like this is going to be building out a Game of Thrones-esque world, and I think it's going to build the tapestry of DC more than it builds an individual character, but it does give us an interesting opportunity for Nubia and other Wonder Woman type characters to build out this world. I think this slate was genius for overall world building, and I'm actually more excited for a lot of this than I expected to be. My expectations were at 11, and it gave me a 15. I think it leans a lot older, and I think it leans a lot more mature, and I think it's going to get people to actually read comics because he presented them with comics. Thank you, James Gunn. I'm very excited.
Well, that was
wow.
Great. That was great, Coy.
I went over
One take.
One take.
We asked Coy to be on the break room yesterday. He said no, so we only gave him 6 minutes today.
That happens. Well, thank you all for tuning
excited
in
for.
today, and thank you, Coy, for risking your heart health. We hope you all tune in tomorrow at the same time. We're going to have an awful redemption tomorrow, so be sure to be here for that. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching today. Tommy's got his breakdown of the first 3 episodes of The Bad Batch coming out on the channel any minute now.
Any
Might be
minute
out
now.
I don't know.
I said let it rip.
And Eric's doing a vid coming out tomorrow talking about some of the deleted scenes from The Last of Us. But we hope you join us here tomorrow. We hope you've had a great Thursday. Check out nerdriot.shop. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Late as skaters. Have a good evening.